Everyone, I am just Shawnee and today we're going to be watching TikTok scary stories. But before we do, I feel like people don't know that I'm just like a bundle of fun facts. And I feel like this is a fun fact that people already know or at least should know. I feel like maybe, but I feel like I need to share it because it's that season. It's cold and flu and all that season. Like my nose has been doing the absolute most, like as if I'm allergic to pollen. And my mom's is just like, yeah, you are, and I was just like, I'm too old for that. Like what? I feel like it's a little too late to be developing allergies. Like where did that come from? Like what? And I just been sneezing everywhere. So because it's that season, I feel like this fun fact is a lot of people have had chicken pox. I have not had chicken pox, don't plan on having it, don't want it, not gonna ever have it. But a lot of people do not realize that chicken pox is a form of herpes. A lot of people don't know that. And I'm just like, that's a fun fact that I feel like everyone should just know because it seems like almost everyone in the world has had it. And I feel like, chickenpox is dying out now, thank God. But I just feel like that was a fun fact that people just know. So comment below WTF if you did not know. that was a thing, like that was real life. Someone had said to me the other day, cold sores aren't a form of herpes, and I was just like, okay. I love when people try to tell me about the body, facts about the body, as if I don't have a degree in biology. I just be like, okay. I haven't spent all my life knowing biology, but over 10 years of my life scientifically, educationally doing biology. I'm just confused. But yeah, fun fact right there. So the first story we got is a written in story. We got an email, y'all. Turn up and we're about to read it. It's from Minecraft. Thank you, boo. It's a glitch in the Matrix story. So we're just gonna go and read this. I have not read this, so we're finding out. Oh, well, let's hope it's nothing out there in here. We're just going to read it. Hi Shine, thank you for your awesome channel and for taking the time to share all of these stories with all of us here on YouTube. I really enjoy your channel and I look forward to hearing your stories every time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this real life experience. To some, it is just a story, but to me and my son, it was a real life experience. I don't know why my thing is not going down. Blessings to you and yours, Lori. Shout out to Lori. Glitch in the Matrix. After our visit to Santuario Chimeo, Mexico, very real, a true glitch in the Matrix story of mine and my son's in 2008. We had something very strange occur. My son and I were driving home from Santuario, the Santuario de Chimeo, maybe. Sorry if I butchered it. Is a Roman Catholic church in Chimeo, New Mexico, built by Spanish missionaries in 1860. Ooh, history, love it. It is located in an old little town called Chimeo in New Mexico. I wanted to go show him this historic church area. He had never seen it. He had heard about it a lot as a child, but he had never been there, so I wanted to take him. During this time, I was not attending the church I grew up in. The church I attended taught us against idolatry and anything holy but God. And knowing the biblical teachings I had been brought up under, I still wanted to pick up some holy dirt from the church and send it to a friend in Colorado who had requested some. It had been said that some people who had taken some of this holy dirt had been miraculously healed. I thought, what could it hurt? Since I was in the area, I thought, what could it hurt? I would just do this for my friend. In my head, I knew it was just dirt and it had no power, but my friend really wanted it, so I was going to mail it to him. Anyhow, we go over there and I pick up some holy dirt, about 2 cups, more or less, in a plastic bag and place it in the trunk of my car. This sounds kind of familiar. This story sounds familiar. Am I having deja vu? We start driving down the road and I take notice that we've been driving for a rather long time, longer than we should have been. It had already been about a good 45 minutes. We should have already been home, but we were nowhere near home. In fact, it felt like we were driving a totally different direction than towards home. So that's when I started to realize something is off here. Why aren't we home yet? This place in Centerio is not that far from where we lived at the time, and we are driving and driving and driving, going nowhere. I began to take notice that wherever we are at, there are no street lights, there are no buildings, and there are no billboards. Everything that should have been there was not there. There were no houses, there were no trees, there were no cars on the road. We were the only vehicle on the road. This whole entire time, we did not see one single vehicle, which is extremely odd because that is a major highway, Highway 68, which is a very busy highway. There are no signs on the side of the road. There is nothing to indicate where we are at. So I look at him and I say, "Hey son, do you know where we are at?" At this time, he was only 16. He said no. I asked, "Does it look familiar to you?" He said no. I said, "Okay, well, we'll drive a little further and see if we see any road signs." After a while of driving, I finally just said, "Son, I don't know where we are at." I didn't want to worry him, but because all of a sudden the landscape and everything changed, I knew I needed to say something. It literally looked like we were back in the 1800s. I kid you not. There wasn't anything that was developed the way it should be now in our time. There was nothing modern along the side of the road as in mile markers, nor on the road as a signage or billboards that we could see as we were passing and driving along. We were not coming up on anything or any sign of life or development. Ooh, this is scary. Finally, after driving a while and never coming upon any kind of mile marker, road sign, or anything of this day of age that should be on the road, I pulled over and I said, "You know what? I'm going to call OnStar." I had OnStar back in the day. It was like an emergency phone in your car for those who don't know what OnStar is. So I called them, and luckily I was able to get through to a woman who had a very strong southern accent. Ooh, like me. I don't think my accent is that strong. I don't think it is. Where's my hand sanitizer? Hand sanitizer break. OnStar is designed to find your location. It's a type of GPS, or it should be able to ping your vehicle with the GPS and get you help directions or any kind of roadside assistance that you might need. This lady on the other end of the line sounded like she was in a tunnel far away, which I found very odd. She attempted several times to ping our vehicle and location. At the same time, she kept asking me, "Where are you? Do you know where you are?" I said, "No, that's the reason why I'm calling you. I don't know where I am. That's why I am asking you to help me find my location. I do not even know what direction I'm going. And I feel like I'm getting further and further away from home." It sounded kind of funny and we kind of chuckled a little bit, but my son and I were getting really nervous, and that's why we were laughing. It was more like a nervous type of laughing. That's kind of what we do when we get nervous. We kind of laugh a little bit. I had to explain to her what happened along the drive and how all the landscapes had changed, how all the road signs just disappeared, and we were the only vehicle on this very, very old road, and all the land is just flat around us. There are no fences like there should be. There are no homes like there should be. There are no street lights. And I mean, we were just so nervous and really getting freaked out. Oh, my nose. She could tell that we were getting unsettled, and that when she said, "I can hear you on the phone, but you sound like you are in a funnel somewhere," literally in a funnel. Not a tunnel, but a funnel. She told me, "It's very hard to hear you. You sound so far away." She said, "Tell me what it looks like around you." I explained everything to her. I said, "It's flat land. There's no trees. There's no fences. There's nothing. It's just flat land. There's nothing to describe. That's all there is here." She tried for a good 10 minutes to get our location so she can help us to get out of there. Look, I'm sorry, you guys. My nose has just been itching so bad. And I don't know why. I'm not allergic to pollen. I don't know why my nose is itching. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. And it's just, Finally, I told her I would continue driving forward. Hopefully, I would not get disconnected. And if I ran into any of the road signs, I would let her know. She was worried about doing that because she didn't want to lose our connection. She wasn't sure we would get another connection if that did occur. But I really felt I needed to get us out of there. I had my son and I needed to protect him. I was a single mom at the time and I was everything he had. I was his protector, his mom, his friend. I was responsible for getting him into this predicament. My son and I were just freaking out. We were looking at each other, shaking our heads as if to gesture no. I'm not sure what has happened. This is crazy. And as always, when we get nervous, we just start laughing and laughing because we are so nervous. Not laughing because it's funny, but because we were very scared we were never going to get back to our planet or our realm. We were freaked out. A few minutes passed and we keep driving and she said, let me try to ping you now. Go ahead, stop. I stopped the car and she still could not find us. Finally, I look at my son and I ask him, which means son in Spanish, do you think this has something to do with that holy dirt? He said, I don't know, Mom. Like, kind of scared is how he responded. I said, you know what? You stay in the car. Do not get out the car under no circumstances. Do not get out the car. Do you understand? I don't care what happens. You stay in this car. He said, well, you don't get out the car, Mom. Like, literally, we don't even know where we're at. What if something happens to you? I said, son, I need to get to the trunk. He said, what do you need in the trunk? I said, I need to get that holy dirt out. Maybe that's the problem. I need to take it out of the car and we will see if things change. I left the car running with him in the front passenger seat and I shut the door behind me very quickly. I ran to the back of the trunk. I grabbed the bag of holy dirt and I set it down on the side of the road. I got back in the car and I told the lady from OnStar if she could please try and ping us again as I started to drive in whatever direction I was going. At this point, I didn't even know what direction I was going. Everything had completely glitched. So she said, sure. I drove about 60 seconds, 1 minute, and immediately the landscape changed. There were billboards, there were mile markers, there were houses, there were cars at the houses, and even a few on the road. All of a sudden, it was like at the snap of a finger, everything went back to normal. There was finally a roadside indicating that we were heading north. I'm trying not to sneeze. It was as though we were heading back home to our house now, but we're about an hour south, still heading back from the Centurio. She found us as soon as I started telling her everything's back. She was able to find us. She said, yes, I see you. I see you. She asked me if we were okay and if we needed a law enforcement or an ambulance. I told her, no, we're fine. We just didn't know where we were. We do now, and we're going straight home. I thanked her for her assistance and staying on the phone with us for being patient and helping us get through this. Her connection, I believe, is what kept us connected with our planet from whatever realm we were in. I know it was not this real for sure. I left that dirt on the side of the road, but to this day, I wish I would have drove back and picked it back up just to see if it would change back and if it was a connection to it at all. But during the time, I knew I needed to get my son out of this predicament. He was fearful, but he was not going to let me see that. I was fearful not for myself, but for him. And I know my son was really worried about what was going to become of us because of my prior experiences that I've been through since childhood with paranormal glitches, etc. All the stories he had heard. I'm pretty sure he already thought I was crazy for wanting to go there and do that in the first place. So I thought I better not take the chance. It did cross my mind to go back and see if the dirt was even still on the roadway or if I would even find it, but I didn't want to freak him out all over again. Good looking out, moms. So I don't know if we were in some type of time travel, a portal, or if it had something to do with the holy dirt, or if we were abducted for a short time. Since then, I have had very many strange things occur in my home when I go to town, etc. Just crazy off the wall things that just cannot be explained. I have loved a lot of my younger life with paranormal activity and events that are off the charts, and it has come through into my adulthood. I have so many real experiences that to others may just be stories, but to me they are real life experiences. Look, this story, girl, I believe you. I believe you. I really do think it has something to do with the holy dirt, because it's just like there's places, holy grounds and stuff that I've heard that has done that, like has changed stuff, like in everything, in the senses. I've heard that. Oh, I'm sorry, my nose is just so itchy. I absolutely dislike springtime. I dislike springtime because it's just the bugs come back, thunderstorms, like we're supposed to have one today, And people just don't know how to act when it gets warm outside. That's why I don't like spring or summer. I love summer for the fashion, but I don't like it for the people who just cannot handle it. Like all this weekend, people have just been blasting their music, and I am a daytime sleeper. I'm a night owl. I do all my work at night. Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:54 something, to work out, and I sleep during the day. So it's just like, oh, people are so inconsiderate in the springtime. So many people have been mowing their grass, and it's just like, no, come on, you guys, let's get on the schedule. Let's all mow our grass on the same day. Let's do it like that, on the same day. Not on the weekends, because that don't make sense. That don't make sense to me. Like, why we mow the grass on a Saturday when we all know that we're all off? We're all off, and we want to just enjoy the peace and quiet. Like, we want to sleep in. Why are you mowing your grass at the crack of dawn? Girl, don't get me started. Like, I don't like the warm-ups. But thank you so much for sending in that story. I do believe you. I think that was a glitch. Comment below what you think that is, because it's crazy when the All-Star can't find you. When people can't find you, that's crazy. When the GPS can't find you and is freaking out, that's crazy. I'm so glad you were safe. Girl, leave that holy dirt. Leave it. Leave it, girl. Okay, now we're about to go into videos, and the first TikTok video is from a subscriber. Thank you so much for doing this. I know this is out of your norm. I appreciate you, Marshmallow Stacy 83. Turn up. I don't know if your name is that on YouTube or TikTok. It is, and I appreciate you so much for sharing your story. Let's dive in.
Okay, all right. Oh God, I'm not a TikTok girly, but I've got a ghost story. So I remember this. I remember a lot of it, but I can't remember the specifics. But I was told later on what went on. So anyways, my mum and dad, they just bought a property. It was the first property, and me and my sister were already here. I was about 4 or 5, and they got talking to one of the neighbours, and they were saying, you know, like, just getting pally, and my mum happened to mention that we were a bit short on furniture. So the neighbour was like, oh right, okay, I've got a wardrobe if you want it. And my mum was like, oh yeah, the kids need a wardrobe, that'd be great, thank you. So we get this wardrobe, and weird things start happening, and I'm complaining to my mum and dad. Well, initially I was like, they caught me giggling in my bedroom, and I was playing with somebody, and I said, it's the man that comes out of the wardrobe with the flat cap on. And I'm like, oh, cute, she's got an imaginary friend. And then I started complaining, and I had red marks on me and scratches and stuff, and I kept saying, the man out of the wardrobe keeps hurting me. Now, my mum and dad are already a little bit sensitive to this sort of stuff as well. Bearing in mind, my dad's like this big hard man. You know, well, that's what he used to be. He's not anymore, he's old. Anyhow, so they were like, this is a bit weird. And they kind of believed me, but they didn't have anything to go on. Well, one night, my mum and dad had an argument, and my mum was relegated to the sofa because they're weird. Anyways, she was relegated to the sofa, and the TV was on, and back then, when I was younger, you'd have static, and it was on, and my mum had the door go upstairs, and she had some steps, and they went about 4 steps down the stairs and then stopped. She thought, oh, must be my dad, her husband, coming to check on her, and then nothing. So she's like, that's weird, because she couldn't hear the steps going back up either. She's like, that's weird. And then she had rah in her ear. And my mum was like, absolutely not. Went upstairs, woke my dad up and said, yeah, something's just screamed in my ear. And my dad was like, no, it's fine. And then obviously get in bed. So my mum was saying, listen, there's something weird going on in the house. And my dad's like, well, but it's a new build. There shouldn't be anything going on. Anyways, one night, my dad's in bed, and he swears blind it was not sleep paralysis. He was awake, and he was able to move his arms and obviously wake my mum up. But he swears blind that something tried to strangle him whilst he was whilst she was asleep, and he managed to wake my mum up, and my mum, it must have scared it off. I don't know how he scares something scary off, I don't know, but anyways, and that was it. My mum and dad were like, no, something's going on here. So my mum mentioned it to this woman, said, weird things are going on in our house, are you having any issues? And she was like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean weird things are happening in the house? Mum was like, well, my daughter keeps complaining about this old man with a flat cap coming out of the wardrobe and hurting her. And this neighbour goes, oh, right. So my mum goes, what do you know? What's going on? What haven't you told us? So anyways, turns out this woman had gone away on a girls' trip, girls' holiday, what have you. Mainly because to get away from it, her husband, because his behaviour was becoming increasingly more erratic, and she couldn't understand what was going on. Well, she came home and he was swinging, let's put it that way, and it smashed the entire house up apart from that wardrobe. That was the only thing that managed to survive his chaos, I suppose, before the end. And so yeah, Mum went home, told my dad, didn't even take it down the stairs, straight out the window, lobbed it out, set fire to it, and that was it. Nothing ever happened after that. Everything cleared up. But I remember as a kid being absolutely terrified to be left alone in my bedroom. And I mean, abnormally so, because kids mess about, on the night, and they stall for time. They want to stay awake. But I remember being absolutely petrified. Oh, that was another thing as well. So my mum and dad had come in. My dad had come in, and I had a pine single bed, and it was stood on end like, I forgot about that. Stood on end like that, and I'm sat crying, sobbing. And my dad was like, what's going on? So then my mum had had this conversation with this neighbour, because my dad was like, I can't understand how she's managed to do that. And I swore blind that I didn't do it, but I got into trouble for it. And I swore blind it was not me. And I remember that. And I remember somebody putting it up on end, somebody I didn't like. But because obviously I was so young, I can't quite remember exactly what went on. So yeah, I remember it happening. So yeah, anyways, that's one of several ghost stories. Bye.
Girl, that's what, girl, that what? Please share more, because that was like, what? That was crazy. Your dad talking about, I don't know how she done it. That's because you did not do it. That's impossible. You are 4 or 5. There's no way you can pick up your bed and stand it up against the wall. Like, what? Have it on 2 legs leaning on the wall? Like, girl, that story was so good. I was scared. You got me. You got me there. You got me. Because I was imagining. I was envisioning it. Literally envisioning it as you were telling me. Girl. So, okay. We're just going to do the rundown. We're going to start at the beginning. What she knew. This lady knew about this wardrobe. And if she did not know, it just seems, no, because I can't say that. I can't say if she did not know, because it's just like, okay, so all of that happened and the only thing left is the wardrobe. Context clues. Come on now. Let's be smart. That was really messed up of your neighbor to give you little kids, 2 little girls, this haunted item. Like, knowing that something's up with this item, you want to give it to kids, that's really messed up. Really messed up. Because, kids are susceptible. Like, that's crazy. I've never had an imaginary friend. Growing up, I did not get it. I was just like, imaginary friend. Like, seeing it on TV and stuff, it's just like, so can these kids really see this imaginary friend? Like, what is going on? I've heard, now that I'm older, I heard that imaginary friends are not their imagination. They're really seeing, like, this is an actual being or something they're seeing something. So maybe that was the reason why I never seen an imaginary friend, because I did not see anything and wasn't about to play I wasn't gonna play like I saw something. So no, I had a great imagination though, but I never had imaginary friends. Friend, I'm so glad that Well, shoot, your dad really did not believe your mom, but I'm so glad your dad was there for your mom. And after he experienced it, she was there for him. How you scare away something that's scary? Pray. Pray. Call on Jesus. That's how you scare away something that's scary, honey. Girl, oh, I'm just so glad that they was just like, okay, I'm upset that they did not believe you. They saw the scratches and everything, was just like, how that happened? Because I know when I was younger, I did. I don't know if I slept well when I was younger. I don't remember. I don't remember at all. But I did have scratches on me. But I was a little clumsy little thing. Kind of. But yeah, I'm glad your dad and your mom was just like, okay, cool. We got to figure out. Your mom was like, no, I got to figure out what's going on. Let's talk to the neighbor. Get this together, honey. And they was just like, okay, your dad was like, I ain't even playing. We ain't gonna even waste no time going down the stairs with this thing. Like, no, push it out the window. Love that. Love that, girl. Thank you for the story. I appreciate you. Look. Go follow her on TikTok. Run it up, boo. Run up her follower count. Like, go follow her.
Before you do a love spell on that man, make sure you watch this video first. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Julia. I am back with another spooky story. So like many others, Julia was scrolling through TikTok when she came across various love spells. Intrigued, she decided to try not just one, but multiple spells. A love spell, a binding spell, an obsession spell, and a third-party removal spell. The target of these spells was a co-worker named Juan, with whom Julia worked with at a warehouse. Julia says the first love spell took effect almost immediately. She noticed a change in Juan's demeanor. His eyes seemed different, and he expressed his love for her more intensely. As their relationship deepened, he decided to move in with Julia, and Julia herself agreed. Initially, everything was perfect. However, as time passed, Juan's behavior started becoming possessive. He couldn't bear to be without Julia, insisting on constant communication even during work hours. On their separate days off, Juan would wait outside for Julia. He would wait outside the workplace for hours, and that's when she realized that the obsession spell had taken hold. The third-party removal spell also appeared effective, as he wanted to be with her exclusively, moving in shortly after. No one caught Juan's eyes but Julia. Julia says his possessiveness escalated to the point where she couldn't even move or even use the bathroom without him accompanying her. And when Julia expressed that his behavior was overwhelming, he reacted violently. He pulled out a pew-pew on her. Initially, he threatened to do it to himself, but then he flipped the pew-pew on Julia, declaring that if he couldn't have Julia, then no one else could. Terrified, Julia pleaded him to stop, assuring him that she would never leave him. He made Julia promise to never leave him, and out of fear, Julia complied. Julia says despite of the danger, she stayed, and each time she would try to leave, he would threaten her with the pew-pew, reinforcing that she too was trapped. The abuse became physical. He would not only hit her, but he would often use the pew-pew as a means of intimidation. One day, while he was out, Julia came up with an escape plan. She called her mother for help, and during the call, he had unexpectedly returned. And he became immediately suspicious of her actions. You trying to leave, ho? She managed to convince him, though, that she wasn't planning anything, and eventually, he left again. And seizing the opportunity, Julia locked all the doors and waited for her mother to come. He returned once more, but this time, all the doors were locked, so he couldn't come in. He shouted threats, accusing her of trying to leave him, and he was making sure that she knew if you are trying to leave, it ain't gonna be so easy. When her mother finally arrived, she left with her mother and never looked back. She had to move out of the apartment and relocate for safety. Julia says, ironically, we worked together and he filed a restraining order against me. So he filed a restraining order against Julia, falsely claiming that she had threatened his life. When in reality, Julia says it was actually the opposite. She says she prayed to her ancestors, asking them to remove the spells that she had casted. Since then, she's continued practicing magic, but vowed never, ever, ever to do another love spell on another person. She says she learns that love spells rarely result in positive outcomes. Wow, Julia, thank you so much for submitting this story. Thank you so much for submitting the story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit it to me either on my TikTok DM or my Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real, duh. And while you're at it, subscribe to my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. Like I say in every single video, I love you by abducted humans from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Of course, you know, go follow Rebecca's Journey. She's on YouTube as Rebecca Journey. So go follow her right now. Go subscribe. What? Wait a second. I got one more video to play. After you see this other video, you finish this video, go subscribe. Go to her and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe here too. Subscribe here, okay? Yeah. Love makes you do crazy things. So I don't understand why people will put a spell on somebody. A love spell on somebody when love already by itself without a spell makes you do crazy things. Like, no, I don't know if I want somebody to love me that much. Yes, I do. Not that much. Like that's too far. That's way too much. I mean, I feel it for you. Like when you have experienced an abusive relationship, you do not want to go back. When somebody has tried to unalive you, you understand that. You don't want to ever go back to that. I feel it for every woman who's ever had to experience that, or any man or anyone. Like that's not cool and it's not okay. So yeah, the love spell, honey, no, she talking about, yeah, I experienced that. I went through it and I'm not going to stop practicing magic. Like, why you're not going to start practicing magic? I feel like with something, what's that thing when it's, what's that saying? Every rose has a thorn. It's like every good thing could, well, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to quick good things, it could be a bad side to it. It's an alternative, you know? It's just like, okay, yeah, double-edged sword, whatever that saying is. But yeah, friend, let's not do love spells. Also, let's not do spells on top of other spells. Let's just not do spells. How about that? How about we live in the now? I've been watching this cute little animation called The Dog and Pony Show. And he's like, let's live in the real. Because the pony's always trying to do magic. And I'm just like, no, let's just live in the real. And with pony's magic, it always has a downside. It never really works out the way it's supposed to work out. And that's perfect for this story. Perfect.
This is the creepiest thing I've ever witnessed in my life. We were exploring an abandoned house, and something was trying to open the door to this room.
Hello? There's no one in here. There's no one in here.
Bruh, we used to have a doorbell that chimed like that ringed like that. Girl, I was scared watching that. He was scared. He was very scared. I saw all the scared on his face. I felt his scared energy. He was terrified. And he still went and opened the door. You wilded out. You hear the doorknob trying to open and you decide, I'm going to open the door and see what's on the other side trying to open this. Girl, bah. Bah. Well, it could have also been an earthquake. It could have, if you want to think like that, but it didn't seem like the earth was quaking. Like we were quaking, we were shivering, we were nervous. Oh, I was stuck for a second. I was stuck. I was just like, no, he's not. No, he's not going to open this door. He's not. No, he did. He did, bro. You see me over there leaning to the side. Like, this what's around the corner, still scared, but want to know what's going on. Follow all these creators, like this video, and subscribe.